Good evening, good evening. Tonight is November 1st, 2006, and good evening to those of you gathered around the country and overseas as well via the conference line. So we have, what do we call it? A virtual Sangha. Is that scary enough? And so we have an important discussion tonight, and welcome. And we are going to be talking about universal responsibility. Now, for those of you, and there aren't that many, who have been in Buddhism your whole life, that someone mentions a universal responsibility, it's tend to send a shiver throughout your entire being of remembrances, teachings, careful understandings, and you arise in a form, in an internal form, which is like the most magnificent, what they call, white knight on a charger. Oh, silver knight on a white charger. What'd I say? Did I say it like that? Shining knight. There we go. Shining knight on a white charger. In your own culture. This is, yes.
Knight in armor.
A knight in armor, a shining, and a nighttime, and a daytime, and a white horse, and really, really nice. So I hope I got all the nuances careful that time. That in order to, and so we're going to talk about this subject tonight, so that you begin to add to your body of knowledge regarding this important concept. All right, so let's go. Before we can talk about universal responsibility, that we have to go back some thousands of years ago to the time when there was a huge philosophical division in Buddhism. And this philosophical division, the important point was that the Buddhism, part of the Buddhism people at that time, this is after, of course, after the time of Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, you don't get to start fighting about philosophy until what do you call? The eponymous founder is gone. Sometimes they do that. This eponymous, a word I learned recently. The Buddhism is an eponymous religion because it's named after Lord Buddha. So like that. Anyway, the adherents, when they should have been meditating, decided that the philosophical positions were the thing, and just like adherents of many other other religious forms, can create a lot of disturbance like that, and so the Therevada had held a philosophical position that the purpose of the enlightenment process and the teachings that proceeded to that enlightenment process was so that one could definitively escape from the suffering of this world. It's a very good idea, isn't it? And the process that they used was developed in a gradual process where an individual could gradually withdraw their mind from the world and its suffering elements, and arrive at a state where they achieve cessation. And in their process, this is the nirvana, or nibbana, I'm going to say, nibbana. And it is in their opinion, come sit up here, dear. it is, in their opinion, the only method. The only method. However, also taught by Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, but obviously heard with the agenda, was the teachings of the greater vehicle. And the proponents who focused on this process became convinced, and this, we're going to talk about this many, many, many times in many different ways, but I give you just a little bit of historical, sort of like what they call urban legend, like that. It's an urban legend. regarding the nature of, I don't think it's actually called urban legend, but like that. Regarding the nature of how one proceeds from the self-centered position and the unique effects of removing oneself from a self-centered position, meaning withdrawing from not only one's surroundings, but one withdraws from oneself. And so this complete elimination of disrupting influences creates a certain kind of transformation. Isn't that so? However, the Mahayanists say that the value of practice, the value of this seeking for enlightenment, only has a limited benefit if you do it only for yourself. That as soon as you achieve a certain sense of peace and contentment, that you move into another kind of interior process which can change your ability to evolve. The Mahayanists say, if it is so, that all living beings seek happiness, and if it is so that you are achieving certain levels of happiness through your practice, and you have removed yourself from the various sufferings of this world, then like you, all living beings are suffering. Like you, all living beings who are placed into positions where they are not able to move. For example, people who are unfairly imprisoned. That your own sense of freedom and comfort and lack of imprisonment could affect your ability could affect your ability to respect yourself. And like that, the great proponents of the Mahayana scriptures, of Nagarjuna, and later Chandrakirti, drew up the points of this discussion in their earliest, in very early documents and teachings regarding the altruistic promise. That this altruistic promise we were talking about last night, about altruistic love, isn't that so? And this altruistic love cannot actually exist unless you know what it is, what the object of your love is. Isn't that so? That this altruistic love, and in last night's discussion, as well as the altruistic healing love, the production of this through bodhicitta, change the method by which you are looking at your own process. This Mahayana philosophy is literally based upon the nature of universal responsibility. Are you with me? All right. This universal responsibility and the altruistic promise that you make is the valuation as well as the method for arising a bodhicitta. This bodhicitta is the great mind which wishes for all sentient beings to be free, to be saved, to be forever free, to be placed into a method by which, well, I'm going to say this from a Western point of view. The most important thing that you can say to Western people is that you not have choices. And by accomplishing these processes of the bodhicitta, as well as the promise to save all sentient beings, that you will be facilitating in all sentient beings choices which they did not have. Really, I like looking at it that way. Better than saying saving all sentient beings. I believe, we not talk about this in our classic philosophy, but it makes a lot of sense to me to think that the actual process of saving all sentient beings facilitates these living beings, giving them choices that they did not have, as well as not even having a method in order to obtain them. Okay? Like that. I like this language. Okay. However, if the Mahayana philosophy remained as philosophy, that it would have produced no results at all. That there had to be a method, and a very easy and accessible methods, where the philosophy developed practices that cause this great mind to arise, not just arise, but there have to be methods by which this great mind, this great altruistic mind, can be stabilized. The stabilizing for many have many people, in the work that I'm doing, we exploring different methods by which an extraordinary element arises in many people, which is not recognized and is brought into the service of activities such as creativity, idealism, activism. What other directions have we looked at it? Huh? Creativity is extremely important, and I'm talking about this from the viewpoint of the pre-active state. The actual state of mind already exists within you. You don't know what it's called. You don't have the information to know that you already possess something inside you which needs to grow, be nurtured, and develop into the altruistic state of mind, which is called universal responsibility and the altruistic promise. You instead have brought this state of mind, and I think this is why so many of my students are in the healing professions, whether they are in a clinical setting or whether they are healers of many different kinds, that this deep promise, and the healing is extremely important to remember here, that this deep possibility has arisen in a form which has caused your outer mind to begin moving and say, I would like to heal. Some years ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago, I had a sudden understanding that, in Tibet, we had many village lamas, people who were doing careful practice. They were helping others. They were, the community relied upon them for doing rituals and prayers. They were not enlightened beings, but they had good motivation, and they were special in their communities. And I was teaching a large group of healers at the time, and it suddenly occurred to me, I was wondering, where are these people in the West? In my before, I thinking this. Where are these people? And I realized when I sat in front of this large group of people, I realized here are the village lamas. Here are the people who are fulfilling some deep activity that is happening inside them that has come out in forms that is accessible and acceptable in your society, and that is to become a healer. From what my students say, it is only recently and marginally acceptable to be a healer, but we're going to forget that part. This extraordinary state of mind is part of that. I'm going to say original programming. Is okay I say it like that? Original programming, which you brought. Now, not everyone has this. Not everyone has this for healing, and if you don't, it's okay, because it may be there in another form, or it may be just really, really well hidden. But anyway, we work at it. Isn't that so? And this original idealistic stance, one does not have to sell all your worldly goods and buy a steamer ticket and go halfway around the world and sit on foreign shores in order to find out, in order to be like another kind of person. You do not have to forget everything that you are and everything that you learned in order to be alive to your potential for growth. I personally think, now that I hear in a Western form, before actually I did think this way. I thought it was a good idea if people forgot everything that they knew and started over fresh, and then we would teach them our Tibetan process. Really, I shy to say that, but not so shy that I not say it. And this was an important learning on my part, that you possess something which needs to be grown up. And if you don't use that, if you have to change so dramatically in order to be the enlightened version of you, to me that it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't respect and honor who you are. Really, this is so what do you call anarchistic talking, I say, like that. However, the Tibetan system, which was based on the Tantras actually are the source of the transformative practices that work with you in these deep basic natures. So there is something important inside you that will grow up. And it's important for you to understand that you already hold the seeds of that promise, that altruistic promise. You already have it. All right? I've given teachings. I don't know what talking about the pre-active state. Was there something?
I can't remember the name.
Was it on altruistic? Something about idealism and activism. I think those I'm talking about it strongly there too. Mm-hmm. All right. So these have there are many practices which help to arise that state of mind, such as our discussion last night, for those of you who were listening, and such as the Four Great Wishes, and what else did I mention? Patience, equanimity, and various other elements. These are part of the compassion practices. However, we do have a extraordinary compassion practice for arising this universal responsibility, altruistic great mind of compassion, training you by simultaneously. We have a unique system in Tibetan system that part of the teachings beat you from behind toward a virtuous goal, and a part of the teachings beat you from the front, causing you to drop your non-virtuous activities like that, and which produces an interesting effect. By the way, I don't teach it this way, but the traditional teachings cause you to stand in the middle between being able to do something and not do something until you finally drop all pretenses and you simply become the one that is the model of the altruistic holder of the altruistic great mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? That when you could no longer tolerate trying to work at keeping away the non-virtues as well as accomplishing the virtues, that your mind becomes extremely active in certain levels of your mind that literally cause the obstacles to your becoming a holder of the altruistic great mind. It causes it to arise. So tonight here, I'm going to do something that I have not yet done before, that I'm going to give you a Lung transmission of the 7-point mind training by Geshe Chekawa, who is a very important Tibetan practitioner of the past, and a great inspiration, and remains. This document remains with his name on it. This document remains with his name on it, and this process, as it is detailed here, I am going to do it. This is not an initiation. This is a moon transmission, which means that I am going to be reciting this 3 times in English, lucky for you, in English. And this translation was done by a person called Berzin, to give credit where credit is due, as the translator. And this is going to be repeated 3 times, and it is expected to reside in you in the form of a feeling, rather than trying to figure out exactly what it is that I am saying. That you receive it as a blessing of the recitation of the instructions for the 7-point mind training. And in that way, if you listen with your heart center very receptive, that there are many points which will resonate in you, bypassing your ordinary intellectual understanding and literally giving nourishment to your inner being. These are important elements that are followed step by step. I have taught on many of these points already. However, the 7-point mind training by Geshe Chekawa, all right? Yes? Prostration to great compassion. 1. Train first in the preliminaries. 2. Ponder that phenomena are like a dream. Discern the basic nature of awareness that has no arising. The opponent itself liberates itself in its own place. The essential nature of the path is to settle within a state of the all-encompassing basis. Between sessions, act like an illusory person. Train in both giving and taking in alternation, mounting those 2 on the breath. In regard to the 3 objects, take the 3 poisonous attitudes and give the 3 roots of what's constructive, while training with words in all paths of behavior. As for the order of taking, start from myself. 3. When the environment and its dwellers are full of negative forces, transform adverse conditions into a path to enlightenment by banishing one thing as bearing all blame and meditating with great kindness toward everyone. Voidness from meditating on deceptive appearances as the 4 Buddha bodies is the peerless protector. The supreme method entails 4 actions to use, so instantly apply to meditation whatever I might happen to meet. 4. In brief, the essence of the guideline instructions is applying the 5 forces, the guideline instruction for the Mahayana transference of mind is the 5 forces themselves, while giving importance to my path of deportment. 5. If all my Dharma practice gathers into one intention, if from the 2 witnesses I take the main, if I can continually rely on my mind being only happy, and if even distracted I'm still able, then I've become trained. 6. Train always in the 3 general points. Transform my intentions, but remain normal. Don't speak of others' deficient or deteriorated sides. Don't think anything about others' faults. Cleanse myself first of whichever disturbing emotion is my greatest. Rid myself of hopes for fruits. Give up poisoned food. Don't rely on my disturbing thoughts as my excellent mainstay. Don't fly off into bad play. Don't lie in ambush. Don't put someone down about a sensitive point. Don't shift the load of a soul to an ox. Don't make a race. Don't reverse the amulet. Don't make a god fall to a demon. Don't seek suffering for others as an adjunct for my happiness. 7. Do all yogas with one. Do all the quashing of what's distorted with one. At the beginning and the end, have the two actions. Whichever of the two occurs, act patiently. Safeguard the two at the cost of my life. Train in the three difficult things. Take the three major causes. Meditate on the three undeclining things. Possess the three inseparables. Act purely without partiality to objects. Cherish applying wide and deep training toward everything. Always meditate toward those set aside as close. Don't be dependent on other conditions. Practice primarily now. Don't have reversed understandings. Don't be intermittent. Train resolutely. Free myself through both investigation and scrutiny. Don't meditate with a sense of loss. Don't restrict myself with hypersensitivity. Don't act for merely a short while. Don't wish for any thanks. Like this, transform into a path of enlightenment. This time when the 5 deteriorations are rampant, this essence of nectar of guideline instructions is in lineage from Serlingpa, from the awakening of karmic remainders, from having previously trained. My admiration for this practice abounded, and due to that cause, ignoring suffering and insult, I requested the guideline teachings to tame myself grasping, now even if I die, I have no regrets. That is the first recitation. Now the next 2 I'm going to do more quickly, if it's possible for my tongue to move like that. 1. Train first in the preliminaries. 2. Ponder that phenomena are like a dream. Discern the basic nature of awareness that has no arising. The opponent itself liberates itself in its own place. The essential nature of the path is to settle within a state of the all-encompassing basis. Between sessions, act like an illusory person. Train in both giving and taking in alternation, mounting these 2 on the breath. In regard to the 3 objects, take the 3 poisonous attitudes and give the 3 roots of what's constructive, while training with words in all the paths of behaviors. As for the order of taking, start from myself. 3. When the environment and its dwellers are full of negative forces, transform adverse conditions into a passive enlightenment by banishing one thing as bearing all blame and meditating with great kindness toward everyone. Voidness from meditating on deceptive appearances of 4 Buddha bodies is the peerless protector. The supreme method entails 4 actions to use, so instantly apply to meditation whatever I might happen to meet. 4. In brief, the essence of the guideline instructions is applying the 5 forces. The guideline instructions for the Mahayana transference of mind is the 5 forces themselves, while giving importance to my path of deportment. 5. If all my Dharma practices gather into one attention, if from the 2 witnesses I take as the main, if I can continually rely on my mind, being only happy, and even if distracted I'm still able, then I become trained. 6. Train always in the 3 general points. Transform my intentions, but remain normal. Don't speak of others' deficient or deteriorated sides. Don't think of anything about others' faults. Cleanse myself first of whichever disturbing emotion is my greatest. Rid myself of hopes for fruits. Give up poison food. Don't rely on my disturbing thoughts as my excellent mainstay. Don't fly off into bad play. Don't lie in ambush. Don't put someone down about a sensitive point. Don't shift the load of a soul to an ox. Don't make a race. Don't reverse the amulet. Don't make a god fall to a demon. Don't seek suffering for others as an adjunct for my happiness. Do all yogas. 7. Do all yogas with one. Do all the quashings of what's distorted with one. At the beginning and the end have the 2 actions. Whichever of the 2 occur, act patiently. Safeguard the 2 at the cost of my life. Train in the 3 difficult things. Take the 3 major causes. Meditate on the 3 undeclining things. Possess the 3 inseparables. Act purely without partiality to objects. Cherish applying wide and deep training toward everything. Always meditate toward those set aside as close. Don't be dependent on other conditions. Practice primarily now. Don't have reversed understandings. Don't be intermittent. Train resolutely. Free myself through both investigation and scrutiny. Don't meditate with a sense of loss. Don't restrict myself with hypersensitivity. Don't act for merely a short while. Don't wish for any thanks. Like this, transform into a path of enlightenment. This time when the 5 deteriorations are rampant, this essence of nectar of guideline instructions is in lineage from Serlingpa, from the awakening of karmic remainders. From having previously trained, my admiration for this practice abounded, and due to that cause, ignoring suffering and insult, I request the guideline teachings to tame my self-grasping. Now, even if I die, I have no regrets. This is the second recitation. During the third recitation, please listen with your inner mind. Prostration to great compassion. 1. Train first in the preliminaries. 2. Ponder the phenomena are like a dream. Discern the basic nature of awareness that has no arising. The opponent itself liberates itself in its own place. The essential nature of the path is to settle within a state of the all-encompassing basis. Between sessions, act like an illusory person. Train in both giving and taking in alternation, mounting those 2 on the breath in regard to the 3 objects. Take the 3 poisonous attitudes and give the 3 roots of what's constructive while training with words in all paths of behavior. As for the order of taking, start from myself. 3. When the environment and the dwellers are full of negative forces, transform adverse conditions into a path of enlightenment by banishing one thing as bearing all blame, and meditation with great kindness toward everyone, voidness from meditating on deceptive appearances, the 4 Buddha bodies, the fearless protector. The supreme method entails 4 actions to use, so instantly apply to meditation whatever I might happen to meet. 4. In brief, the essence of the guideline instructions is applying the 5 forces. The guideline instructions of the Mahayana transference of mind is the 5 forces themselves, while giving importance to my path of deportment. 5. If all my Dharma practices gather into one intention, if from the 2 witnesses I take the main, if I can continually rely on my mind being only happy, and if even distracted I am still able, then I have become trained. 6. Train always in the 3 general points. Transform my attention, but remain normal. Don't speak of others' deficient or deteriorated sides. Don't think about others' faults. Cleanse myself first of whichever disturbing emotion is my greatest. Rid myself of hopes for fruits. Give up poisonous foods. Don't rely on my disturbing thoughts as my excellent mainstay. Don't fly off into bad play. Don't lie in ambush. Don't put someone down about a sensitive point. Don't shift the load of a tso to an ox. Don't make a race. Don't reverse the amulet. Don't make a god fall to a demon. Don't seek suffering for others as an adjunct for my happiness. 7. Do all yogas with one. Do all the quashing of what's distorted with one. At the beginning and the end have the 2 actions. Whichever of the 2 occurs, act patiently. Safeguard the 2 at the cost of my life. Train in the 3 difficult things. Take the 3 major causes. Meditate on the 3 undeclining things. Possess the 3 inseparables. Act purely without partiality to objects. Cherish applying wide and deep training toward everything. Always meditate toward those set aside as close. Don't be dependent on other conditions. Practice primarily now. Don't have reverse understandings. Don't be intermittent. Train resolutely. Free myself through both investigation and scrutiny. Don't meditate with a sense of loss. Don't restrict myself with hypersensitivity. Don't act for merely a short while. Don't wish for any thanks. Like this, transform into a path of enlightenment. This time, when the 5 deteriorations are rampant, this essence of nectar of guideline instructions is in lineage from Serlingpa, from the awakening of karmic remainders from having previously trained. My admiration for this practice abounded, and due to that cause, ignoring suffering and insult, I request the guideline teachings to tame my self-grasping. Now, even if I die, I have no regrets. I still hear. We just remaining quiet here for a minute. Igire. This concludes the recitation of the 7-point mind training. All right. Now. All right. You okay? All right. Now. This 7-point mind training has elements of the practice of Tonglen. Did you recognize that in there? As well as many of the discussions that we have had regarding many important subjects have come from this 7-point mind training, as well as the elements from many other great commentaries and scriptures. All right. Now, this one important element of the arisal of the altruistic mind and the sense of universal responsibility directly relates to your relationship with all sentient beings, and particularly the practice of seeing all sentient beings as having been one's mother in one's previous time, as well as, of course, you got one this one time too, didn't you? Like that. All sentient beings have literally been your mother in other forms, in other places, in other human forms, we could say. And like that, your survival depended upon the care that you received in the womb, as well as care when you were fragile in our Tibetan system. We don't have such pretty ideas about what newborn babies look like. We say they look like little worms, like that. And, of course, this could come from more of a male monastic training. I think we could probably figure that. We think that they look kind of a little bit slimy worms, like that, and not very attractive. However, I think ladies have much different idea about how beautiful babies look, and luckily so, because your survival depended upon your mother thinking you very beautiful, like that. And we say the vomit coming out one end and the shit coming out the other end, and this is a very, very messy thing to be able to take care of, like that. And, well, anyway, that's what monks thought. However, your mother, and I know this is hard to believe, that even monks have mothers, even the ones who are saying this about babies, they also have mothers, and they hold their mother with a great deal of reverence and respect, as so kind. And we use that as the method for saying, like your relationship with your mother, so intimate, your closest relationship in this lifetime has been with your mother. And performing meditations and deep understandings on this subject, one arrives at a greater appreciation for how kind their mother was to them and has been to them, allowing them to survive, number one, when they were not very attractive and not very careful as a baby, and in that way, like that, due to the understanding of reincarnation, that one says, I must have had at least one other mother, like that. You could begin that way. I must have had one other mother other than the one I have in this lifetime, and maybe there was even more than two. And as your mind begins to move into a more expansive nature regarding this process, that you develop a cultivated state of mind that acknowledges that you have never met a living being who was not your mother in a previous lifetime. And in that way, this sense of universal responsibility can be very easily gained in the correct method, which has to do with the extraordinary love that you have for your own mother, is then able to be transferred to a larger number of beings, an infinitely larger number of beings, eventually culminating in a careful and correct understanding through many transitional stages of understanding that your intimate love relationship with all sentient beings in the careful manner as a child toward their loving mother, that there is something that they have done for you that you have not yet begun to explore a repayment. That the nature of this intimate relationship has been quite certainly one-sided up to now. That you have, in previous lives, when food was scarce, mother has given the food from her own mouth and put it into your mouth and gone hungry while her child, you, was fed. Did you ever thank her? No. And now that one is gone from your human situation. That one is gone, and yet the debt remains. That your survival in a previous time, we're looking at this more in the classic method, that your survival in the previous time gave you opportunities to meditate, to have access to the Dharma, might have become a practitioner and a holder of bodhisattva vows, I'm going to say, bodhicitta vows, in that lifetime, bodhicitta vows in that lifetime, that literally that was the direct cause of your being here tonight. Not only the activity of your mother of this lifetime, but the activity of the kindness of mothers of infinitely large numbers of previous lives, is that you are you have been the direct recipient with no sense of obligation. And today we are talking about the bill has come due. Why? You could have floated along like this. I like to do my voices. You could have floated along like this for many, many more lifetimes. But there is something about this lifetime that you really, really, really want. You want to be free. You want to make a clean and gracious ending. Sort of like, I see like Mozart, Beethoven or Mozart, like that. We like both Beethoven and Mozart. We'll call it Mozart. At the end of one of these important operas or pieces of music, that the music builds to a crescendo. It gives all of the little side melodies that have been explored during this long performance of this amazing piece of music. That all of these come to fruition in a resounding bam 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 bam. And your heart begins to move, and you begin to feel like some kind of resolution is happening. Like that, those who will attain enlightenment in this lifetime, and it is possible. Don't believe anyone that tells you that enlightenment not possible. That those who will be making that transition into the enlightened state in this very lifetime need to energetically resolve something that is larger than the national debt. Everybody worried about the national debt. Everybody worried about a credit card debt like that. But the debt that you owe to your previous mothers is huge, You know, many children, time going quick, I want to talk more. Many children, adult, now most all you hear adult, say, I bought my mother a new car. I bought my mother a house. I bought my mother a sandwich. It doesn't matter what it is. And why isn't she happy? Things that I do for her. What is it? What is it that she wants? I've done everything that I could think of to make her happy. I gave her presents. I became a dentist when I didn't want to make her happy. I did everything to make her happy. She said jump, I say how high? I did everything she asked me to do. Why isn't she happy? It's because she not free. Because your mother not free. Your mother needs to be free in order to be happy. And this universal responsibility is what's happening inside almost all of you right now. This sense, I must personally take responsibility for saving, for giving them choices, we're going to say, for saving my mothers, all of them. Where are your mothers? Where are they? Huh? Where are your mothers of your before time? I'm asking you right there with the eyeglasses on.
I wish I knew.
I want you to look across the aisle. There she is. Look around you. Look around you. And I want you to greet your mothers of a previous lifetime. Doesn't matter whether you are in a male form or a female form at this time, that your responsibility also is alive in your mothers from a previous lifetime who are in this room with you right now. This is your object of universal responsibility. However, now the arena has shifted from the individual to a level which is called all sentient beings. From that pool of valid relationship, valid activity, moving toward perfection, arise myriad forms, such as the person who is sitting next to you or in this room. From that valid expression of reality, which is the nature of the object of universal responsibility, arose your mother of this lifetime in a form called human being, called why can't I make my mother happy? Arose your own self, trying to figure out why she's not happy and what would make her happy. That from this pool of living beings arises myriad living beings in myriad forms that arise in states that are trying to understand and trying to live through different kinds and different levels of evolutionary process. Are you with me? Okay. This is the aspect of acknowledging the debt that one owes to others. Then the repaying of the kindness of others is the energetic holding of universal responsibility, as well as beginning or continuing to do your practice for the benefit of doing one's own practice in order to achieve the transformation, so that you can help them have choices in the future. All right? It is possible to have this mindset 24 hours a day. Gradually practicing the points of the training to slide your mind from one point of view to a more comfortable and stable view of universal responsibility. These practices will help that mind gradually move into a more stable place without disrupting your, I'm going to say, your mandala matrix or your worldview beyond what you can tolerate at this time. Are you with me? This not like a shock therapy. This is meant to allow you to arise carefully in a careful form. All right. The next method by which universal responsibility, this particular aspect, is very much alive, is in the Four Great Wishes. And on our website, we have all four teachings in transcribed form. I invite you to go to the website and read about Four Great Wishes, since we're not going to be able to discuss them at length here. However, the short version, let's recite together, please. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the bliss that is sorrowless. May they abide in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. These are the four wishes in the short form. In the short form, these affirmations, which are part of your practice of your sadhana, which is your meditation, is the wish. However, in the long form is not only the wish, but the determination and the arising sense of universal responsibility to make it happen. Your sadhana is done in the short version. You folks not have enough time to do long versions. However, now you know that should you desire, that you are most welcome to do the long version of Four Great Wishes, now that you've received more information about the nature of universal responsibility. Says, may all sentient beings have happiness and its cause. May it be so. I will cause it to be so. And I'm paraphrasing, but even if every being who promised to do this fails and gives up, I will never give up. I don't care. Even nobody else do. I do. Like this strong, heroic stance. And not just saying like, oh, my friend and I always meditate together, but now they don't meditate as often, so I think I'll give up too. Like that. This is totally antithetical to the universal responsibility view, that your own personal responsibility is what what you are experiencing. That is the heroic stance of universal responsibility. This unique view of universal responsibility is to make it happen from one's own personal point of view, regardless of what or who is doing beneficial or non-beneficial activities. Are you with me? The development of the individual into a benefit being, which is the training that you are receiving, how to become a benefit being. This development of the individual into a benefit being must include the determination to save all sentient beings. We do not rely on others to save all sentient beings, even though they have developed the promise as well as the ability to do so. We do not hold the position of saying, so-and-so down the block, such a good meditator. I know that this sense of universal responsibility is alive in them. I should just let them do it. And as for myself, I'm going to go out and pontoon myself around Lake Michigan. They do it on Lake Michigan?
No.
Okay, I'm going to go to Lake Monona then. I'll go over Monona side in Madison. And I'm going to pontoon myself around the lake until the sun goes down. And that will be good. No. This is not the sense. The reason is the effort and the aliveness that occurs within this extraordinary state of mind transforms something inside you. It changes you and makes you capable, makes you determined, and that is the kind of person that can attain enlightenment. Someday I'd like to go on a pontoon, but that had nothing to do with that. Anyway, we have ongoing joke about pontoon, but there's nothing to do with this. This determination, combined with bodhicitta motivation, definitely gives the energetic that can make a breakthrough. It definitely does. It feel good, it's healthy, it's beneficial. You're expected to do it. This is, for you, my students, this is not a suggestion. This is... Okay. This is a higher level process. This is a higher level process. And like the description of, I not know because I not experienced this, like in psychotherapy, they have a process where an individual can make a cathartic, they say cathartic change. They feel purged. They can feel purged of that which is which prevents them from psychological health, I'm going to say, and they make a sudden change into a healthier model. Like that, on a higher level, because we're involved in a transcendent process which trains you for actual transformation inside, that this powerful, transformative, compassion state of mind is the vehicle by which your nature will become changed on the outside as well as the inside. And like that, do carefully. Tomorrow, as you move around tomorrow, among your mothers from previous times, doesn't matter what they're doing. You know, some of the mothers, some mothers from previous lifetimes, you can't just go up and embrace, okay? So be careful like that. Or like you standing around a water cooler in your office and you want to hug everyone who come up to the water cooler. Do be careful. I believe there was a point here that said, behave normally. Do the transformative processes inside, but do remain normal outside. Within the parameters of that, please do indulge in the high altruistic process of the universal responsibility, and definitely it will happen in you. Gewa dinyo to daklama sangitu kanedro chikimalupa, nini salakupa shu.